And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Feel free to give us a call at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546. Miss Jan will take your call and put you in the queue, and I will put you on air. We'll go to the phones now. Dave from Oklahoma, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby. How you doing?
I could not be better, thank you. How about yourself, sir?
Great. It's a little rainy here today, but we love your show here. We'd like to get you down here sometime.
You know, I would like nothing better. We have an all, not all digital, the studio's all digital, but we have a trailer with remote broadcast capabilities that is absolutely over the top. And that trailer is sitting just outside this studio, inside the shop. I was yesterday thinking, I said, you know, here's a trailer this trailer's never seen the sun except for when it's on the road, because it's the only trailer that I know of it's a garage trailer. But we'll do that for sure. We'll get together with some of our local sponsors there and do something for charity. I think that would be a great event, and it would invite a lot of people to come out, and we'll share some food and cook some hamburgers on the grill. How about that?
That'd be great. I know you get a lot of calls from Oklahoma. I listen every Saturday.
Tons, Dave. What can I do for you?
Hey, I've got an 82 Honda. I have another quick question, too, but I have an 82 Honda that's been basically kind of sitting and hadn't been started very much over the last 6 years. And what should I do to it to get it back up and running? I mean, it runs. It starts up and runs, but it runs a little rough, of course. But I don't know how much gas was in it, but what should I do to the engine and the radiator and the transmission and all that? What would you recommend I do?
Well, you know, the challenge, I mean, let me ask you a question. Would it start today, or how long has it been since it would start?
Uh-huh.
Well, the first thing I would do is I would put a full tank of gas in the automobile, and I would change the fuel filter on the automobile. I would drive the car. I would, of course, check all the fluids, and I would drive the car to get it up to operating temperature. And that means the transmission, the differential, and it's going to take, Dave, it's going to take at least 15 minutes, 15 miles to drive that car to bring it around and bring it up to good temperature. Also, how long has it been since the timing belt was replaced?
Oh, that's been a while, yeah, probably.
See, that's a concern. I'll tell you why. That's an interference engine. So if it's idling, and the belt breaks, you know, if it's idling at 1,000 RPM, it may do $1,000 worth of damage. If you're going down the road at 2,000 RPM, well, you get the picture.
Right.
So I would, by all means, check the timing belt of the vehicle, and while you're there, you may as well replace the drive belts of the vehicle, and feel the hoses. And if the hose is soft and mushy, like the upper radiator hose. Now, the lower hose is a little difficult to test, because most lower hoses have supports, wires. So you really can't feel the consistency of the hose, but you can on the upper, because that's where the pressure comes in. And so it doesn't have a restrict, or it doesn't have a spring in it. So what I would do is I would squeeze the upper radiator hose, and if it was gooey and soft, you know that you need to replace all the hoses. And if it felt crunchy on the inside, then electrolysis and it has set in. And so I would replace all the hoses. While you're there, I would replace, if you were going to break into the cooling system and the timing belt, I would think about the water pump, because that water pump, you got to move it. You got to get down there to replace the timing belt. So these are just things that are normal maintenance items on a Honda, and especially an 82 model. And I don't know if you've had any problem with the carburetor. Hopefully not, because you don't want to touch the carburetor on that vehicle. And you don't want to have any problems with the carburetor, because it's as best I remember, a 3-barrel and very picky carburetor. So you want to run some fuel cleaner through the system, and that's perfectly fine. And
I already did that. And
the fuel cleaner, fuel filter, belts, hoses, check the brakes. And when I say check the brakes, I mean to remove. Does that car have drum brakes on the rear? I'm sure it does.
Yes.
I would remove the drums, and I would peel back the rubber boots for the rear wheel cylinders. to see if there's any fluid that would run out. Now, these boots don't hold.
Brakes aren't working because it won't hold any fluid. You know, there's a fluid leak.
Well, there you go. Then you already answered the question. So there's your to-do. So I'll give you a week or two, and if you'll finish all that, call back and give me an update, and we'll go from there.
Ask you one more quick question.
Sure.
I've got a 2001 Ford Taurus that I drive about 3,000 miles a month for my job.
Wow.
Is there any advantage to like letting it when you go to turn it off after you've driven, say 50 or 60 miles or 100 miles? Is there any advantage to letting it idle down? Or will that help the car in any way?
It will not. It will not. If it were a diesel, yes, because of the extreme temperature differential, but to let it idle just uses more fuel. By the time you pull over to the curb and stop, and you ended at wherever you're going, and you get to your destination, put it in park and shut it down.
Hey, I've been using all your products on it that you pump it on your show, and they seem to help. So I'm getting good mileage and not having any trouble with it. So, hey, thanks. I appreciate your help.
I thank you, Dave. And stay tuned. Let me know how it works out for you.
I'll do that. Thanks.
888-227-2546.